Alright guys, this is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to review a jewelry saw that I recently acquired off of eBay. So, this is what I've been using with a lot of my security pins that I've been making for the challenge locks I'm making. I haven't been picking a whole lot, but I have been making a lot of challenge locks. So I'm going to explain to you guys what I used to do to make serrated pins and why this jewelry saw makes it so much easier. So at first what I used to do was I'd use a triangular file or a hacksaw blade. And this is what those look like. So the one at the very top, that's super rough, that's from a hacksaw blade. I didn't really like it, so I made another one lower down. The lowest one right there where my fingernail is. That's from a hacksaw blade, okay? Now the one right there, that's from a triangular file. And those are all fine, but they make a lot of noise. They're somewhat wide, and with the triangular file at least you can't make them very deep. And I noticed that it could just be my Dremel, but using the hacksaw blade, it shakes a lot and it gets rough, like the one up top where it's pretty rough. It's kind of brutal. But then the three lines below that, so something to PowerPoint. This one, and this one, these were made using the jewelry saw. Sorry guys, I'm trying to focus in it so you can see them. Now, I feel like those ones are a lot cleaner. I feel like they're a lot sharper, and they're also quicker. Instead of having to work at it for 20-30 seconds to make one serration, I can make several nice serrations and not very long whatsoever. So for me, this jewelry saw has dramatically improved my efficiency at making challenge locks. The one that I bought, and I'll put links in the description, it came with 144 blades. Now, there are different widths of the blades, and they have a different number of teeth per inch, but for me I found it doesn't really matter. These are small enough that for our uses it doesn't really matter whether you use the gauge 2 or the 1-0. In fact, so it should be that the 2 is the thickest and the 1-0 is the thinnest. This is the 2. These are the 1-0, and you can see they're basically exactly the same. So, as far as making challenge locks is concerned, these will all do exactly the same job. I didn't find that one was more effective than another one. I don't know a whole lot about jewelry saws. I did research it a little bit, but this for me has been a lifesaver, because I had hardly made any challenge locks before. It was always such a long process. I was so slow because making pins was just so hard. But this allows me to make them really, really quickly. I think this was like $15. Now you can buy the blades without the frame to hold it, but I wouldn't recommend it. I considered doing that, and I'm really glad I did not. It would have saved me like $5, but this is one of the blades. How would you hold that? Let's try to zoom so you can see the saw, or the teeth. Come on. How would you hold that? You wouldn't. There's really no way you could hold that. So that way you wouldn't hurt yourself and you could actually use it. So I would highly recommend that if it's something you're interested in, if you want to make cleaner, sharper serrations in your security pins, you invest in a jewelry saw with the frame. I mean, it has a handle, it's adjustable. There are a number of them out there. I'll put a link to the one I bought, or maybe I'll just link to a bunch of them. but for me it has really helped. So I wanted to show off some of the security pins I've been making really quickly, and then I'll wrap this up. So it used to be that my serrations were large and pretty ugly, and I'll just showcase some of them. So these aren't the most amazing in the world, but they are a lot better than they were, where I can make really fine serrations, really deep serrations. And it should hopefully make my locks harder. I've recently put out some more locks into the community, so I'm excited to see how they fare. And because you have such control with this small blade, it's even allowed me to make, I don't know, things like that. So you drop into the false set, and then my hope is while you're lifting it, you'll run into those grooves right there. So you have some crunching with the serrations. Or, let me find one more. And none of these are unique. I'm not inventing new types of security pins, but a T-pin with serrations. So these are things I wouldn't be able to do with a hacksaw blade or with a file. So if you have a lathe or anything like that, you probably don't need a jewelry saw. But if you're like me, trying to make this hobby as cheap as you can, which is very hard, but where you just use a Dremel, then this jewelry saw is a lifesaver. I would highly recommend it. Alright guys, that's all I had. If there are any other ways that you guys make serrations that I left out, let me know. I've also tried using like X-Acto knives, or X-Acto knives, or box cutters, things like that. I've tried pocket knives even, and out of all of them, I like this one the most. But if there's anything else that I left out, ways that you make your serrated security pins, please let me know, because I want to learn new things. I've been trying to come up with new security pins that I hope are tricky. I don't know if they are or not, but I'd love your guys' feedback, because I've only made a handful of challenge locks so far. Here's one I think should be pretty fun. So it's not sharp and boxy like a normal spool, but it's actually rounded. Then it's got a serration. So I hope that provides pretty cool feedback, but we'll find out. Alright guys, that's all I have. Once again, if you have any feedback or suggestions or just insights on how you make your own pins, please let me know. I'm always trying to learn more. If you liked what you saw, please subscribe, and thank you for watching.